Mr. President, it's Thursday afternoon, and it's one of the times that I enjoy the most in the Senate here. It's because it's the time I get to come down on the Senate floor and talk about my state, talk about the people in my state, talk about the people who make Alaska a great and unique state in our wonderful country. And it's the time we talk about the person I refer to as the Alaskan of the week. And it's someone who has helped make their community, or Alaska, or America, or sometimes all of the above, a better place. I think it's the pages' favorite time too, because they get to learn about Alaska and hear all the unique aspects that make Alaska such a great, wonderful, unique state. And to those listening in the gallery, on TV, I always make a plug. It's also a time to pitch Alaska for our visitors. Come on up. You will have the trip of a lifetime, guaranteed. Guaranteed. Don't put it off. It's time to book your trip to the great state of Alaska. So, Mr. President, today I'm going to recognize an extraordinary teacher, Danielle Riha, who I just actually had the privilege of meeting right here off the Senate floor, who is in the gallery right now. So we're excited that she's here watching. And she teaches at the Alaska Native Cultural Charter School in Anchorage. That's a pre-K through 8th grade charter school. She is our Alaskan of the week. Now, you might say, why? What is she doing? Why is she in town? Well, Mr. President, she is in town because she was chosen to be the 2019 Alaska Teacher of the Year. And she is so impressive in her profession, her teaching so impactful on her students, that she was one of 4 finalists in America across the country to be chosen for the National Teacher of the Year award for the whole country. What does that mean? In other words, she is viewed by her peers, by her students, by others, as one of the top 4 teachers in the United States of America, our Alaskan Teacher of the Year. So we are so proud of her. Now, Mr. President, we have thousands of teachers in my state, just like we do in yours, who do such great work day in, day out to make sure our next generation is not only educated on the facts and things like math and history, but that they also understand, in the words of the great leader Nelson Mandela, education is the most powerful weapon you can use to change the world. That's true. And that's why our teachers in Alaska, in America, are so important. Danielle Riha is teaching our youth so that they can go out and change the world. She and all the teachers in Alaska, in America, have one of the most important jobs for our nation and one of the most difficult jobs for our nation. And we certainly salute and honor them all, particularly this week, as so many of the top teachers in the country have been in town. So why is Danielle good at what she does? Why did she get this award? Why is she viewed as one of the top 4 teachers in America? Why has she touched so many students in Alaska? And how did she make her way into this profession? So let's talk about that. Let me start with the last question first. She came to Alaska in 1995 when she was a college student at North Texas University. She came to a part of Alaska, Unalaska, which is way out on the Aleutian Island chain, to fish, to help pay to finish college, where she had plans to become a physical therapist. Okay, that's a great profession as well. Like a lot of people, she came up to Alaska, maybe for a little adventure, was maybe only planning on staying 6 months. Then one day, the principal of the school in Unalaska approached her when she was playing basketball and said, "You ever thought about being a teacher? How about a substitute teacher?" Well, that was the beginning of a love affair she had with teaching, with the classroom, and her ability to really connect with kids, particularly kids with difficult emotional challenges. She finished her education degree at the University of Alaska in Anchorage and then taught for 7 years in 2 small villages in southwest Alaska. While there, she helped develop the curriculum that was culturally appropriate to her students, most of whom were Alaska natives. Let me read. She was then recruited to teach at the school where she now teaches, the Alaska Native Cultural Charter School, and was one of the original teachers to start up this great new teaching and education venture in 2008. Let me read from her Teacher of the Year application form. Quote, imagine you are a 7th grade student living in a rural Yupik-speaking Alaskan community. By the way, we have many, many communities in our state where English is not the first language, where the Alaska Native languages are the first language. Back to the application. The only way to get to your village is by small plane or boat in the summer and snow machine in the winter. You have never been to a city or had life experiences that include seeing an elevator or stores or restaurants or roads even outside your community. Your family survives by subsistence, hunting, and fishing, and gathering from the land of their ancestors. By the way, that's how thousands of Alaskans survive to this day. Now imagine yourself in math class, considering a word problem in the school curriculum that takes place, say, in a state like California, and involves distances and roads and rollerblades and curbs on the roads and convenience stores. That's in the application. What is this getting at? Is that things that so many Americans think are common for education in certain communities in Alaska, and I'm sure in other places, aren't common. And it's difficult to teach when everything is assumed to be the same, when it's not. You can imagine how confusing that might be. These are the kind of educational challenges Alaskan students, particularly in our most rural communities, face every single day. So what did Miss Riha do to help with the confusion? Working with Alaska Native elders, she helped create what she calls the kayak module, which uses culturally relevant material to teach math and science and social studies and language arts. Let me give you an example of how she uses the module to teach math and science. So, the students are given blocks of clay and put into groups. Each group then designs a kayak of different shapes and different weights. They're tested for speed, water disbursement, capacity. Data is collected. Hypotheses and math calculations are made, and the students learn from using these examples that are actually examples from their own lives, and they love doing so. And this can work across cultures. Think about it. Alaska Native students who are on rivers or on the ocean, or Samoan students, many of whom live in an example. All of these kind of students culturally have boats in their culture. They understand that. As an educator, Danielle said, nothing feels better than allowing students the opportunities to bridge what they already know culturally to new content and teach them to have a voice for themselves, which helps them learn. Now, isn't that a simple but insightful approach to teaching? I think you're all getting the picture of why she was considered one of the top 4 teachers in America. She and the whole school are also devoted to ensure that they go to school in a very safe place where the schools feel welcome, Students feel welcome. So, for example, one student who wrote a letter in support of her for her Teacher of the Year nomination was talking about how she was worried about being bullied because she came from a different culture. She was Muslim. And because of that, she started to feel like she was falling behind in reading and math. This student wrote, "Miss Riha helped me be bold enough to teach others about my culture in a way that made me feel proud of who I am. Needless to say, I caught up in my math and reading within 1 year because of her leadership, and now I love learning." That's from one of her students. That student is now studying to become a dental hygienist at the University of Anchorage, and she and Miss Riha still stay in touch. Mr. President, as you know, we all have that teacher, maybe one, maybe two, maybe several, but that one teacher who made a difference in our lives, who encouraged us, who believed in us when maybe no one else did, who helped us through hard times by passing on the joy of learning, by passing on the passion of learning. Danielle and thousands of other teachers across my state and millions across our great nation wake up every day to do that as their mission, to take on one of the most important things any of us can do, and that is educating our youth. So, Danielle, congratulations for being Alaska's Teacher of the Year, for being one of the top 4 teachers in the United States of America, and importantly, thank you and congratulations on being our Alaskan of the Week. I yield the floor.